I want to welcome everybody and that has joined us for this wonderful event. I think this is perfect timing in light of what we've gone through the last, 6-8 months or whatever it is. So I think this is kind of an enjoying thing that I think we're going to really have a good time. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Torgerson. I am the Director of Leisure Travel Services for Travelex International. And today I have Kevan Cowie from African Travel, and we kind of put our brains together a couple of months ago, and I was explaining some of the things I wanted to do, and they had done a couple of these, and I thought it was a fantastic idea. But before I turn it over to Kevan and his team, at the bottom you'll see a chat or Q&A box. Please, by all means, we want this to be interactive. Go ahead and type any questions or comments that you have, as those boxes will be monitored as we go throughout our game drive this morning. Or for you guys, it's in the evening. But I want to thank your entire team for taking the time to join us in doing this. So Kevan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Fantastic, Lisa, and a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our friends in South Africa, because of course with that time difference it is evening for them, and we're hopefully going to see, it looks like a beautiful day behind them, so perhaps we'll even get a glimpse of a wonderful sunset. I am very, very proud as the Director of Sales for African Travel to be working with the team at Shamwari. Shamwari is truly one of the best private reserves in all of Africa. They do just such an amazing job, from their camps and lodges through to their incredible conservation programs that they run. We absolutely love working with Shamwari. And when you guys, hopefully this will give you the taste of Africa that you're looking for, and will inspire you to get on the phone with Lisa and her team and start booking and getting to Africa. Africa is slowly opening now. South Africa opened their borders on October the 1st. However, it is still not open to us here in the United States, but they are reviewing that on an ongoing basis. So we will hope to see that change fairly soon, and that I know the folks in South Africa can't wait to see us coming back and welcoming us to their little part of paradise on the planet. So without further ado, I know you're very anxious to get to South Africa and see what's really happening there. So I'm going to introduce first and foremost Theo. Theo Gromhout is the manager down in Shamwari, and he is going to give us a little bit of a background on Shamwari, and then we'll take it over to the rest of the team. We've got some rangers out with us today: Leon, Timothy, Raymond, and Jan. And hopefully they've got some fantastic, and I will tell you guys that the last time we did this, Andrew, who unfortunately is not able to join us today, but he did treat us to his dung spitting capabilities. So the challenge is now on, and I did say that when I next come to Shamwari, I would personally be willing to partake in the challenge, but therefore I expect everybody else to stand up to it as well. And we can explain that later if we go on, if one of you wishes to do so, please. But if not, then at least we can talk about what it means. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to Theo. Theo, it looks like you've got an absolutely fantastic, wonderful evening for us in South Africa again. So perhaps you can start first and foremost telling us exactly where in South Africa you are and what time is it? So it gives us everybody here, because of course we are doing our coffee break here in the United States right now.
Good afternoon, Kevan, and thank you very, very much. Good to join you. I've just got some vehicle coming past at the moment, so I'm going to let them go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Shamwari. And first of all, as always, Kevan, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to bring you a very, very special part of the world. I think last time we were with you, I mentioned we'd been just open for 2 weeks. Now it's 2 weeks later, so we've been operating for literally a month after 7 months of lockdown. So we're really, really fired up and passionate and excited. Back in the sun. So, again, thank you for the opportunity. For those of you who weren't aware, we've done this probably is close to our 10th or around 8, 9 or 10 Zoom safaris we've done with African Travel. It's always a pleasure, because it's given us an opportunity to not just sit down and be grumpy and sad about being in lockdown, but just give us an opportunity to keep our brand and our products front of mind, and just give you guys something really cool to do during a very difficult time around the world. So enjoy it.
Theo, can I just interrupt you 1 second? It is actually, I wonder if you want to come just a tiny, maybe a step closer to your mic there, because there seems to be some wind noise in the background.
Yeah,
that's much better. Perfect. Fantastic.
Is that okay? Sorry.
Yes, and we're happy to see you. I know you want to show us the background, but that's fine. We're happy to see you.
Okay.
They're laugh lines, Theo. Laugh lines.
I'm guarding it. So I don't know if that's a bit better, but before I hand over to Andrew, you asked me just to orientate all of our viewers and let you know where in the world we are. So I feel a little bit like, is it Walt, I think? Eh? Where in the world is Walt? Well, Walt is standing in the Eastern Cape. I'm about less than 45 minutes from Port Elizabeth. Andrew's got a good way of describing exactly where Shamwari and where we are, but I'll let him, and he'll do that in a minute. But really, if you picture South Africa, Cape Town, an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes flight from Cape Town on the eastern coast of South Africa, or an hour and a half flight from Johannesburg, you fly to Port Elizabeth, and then less than an hour later, you'll be with us on the reserve. Where I'm standing now, I'm actually going to flip the camera around and show you the reserve in its entirety. So once you arrive at Shamwari, this is pretty much what you're seeing. In front of me, 25,000 hectares of private game reserve, as far as you can see those mountains and beyond. So that's our private game reserve. Within the reserve, obviously, what is important to note is we are malaria free, and we're also Big Five. So I think on a few occasions, without putting any pressure on the game rangers today, I think on maybe 2 occasions, we've managed to see all of the Big Five within a Zoom safari. On most occasions, we seem to get 4 of the Big Five, often 3, more often than not 2, and then 1 is a breeze for our rangers. That I can assure you, and I say that with all humbleness. But really, within the reserve, 25,000 hectares, within Shamwari, you'll find 7 lodges. Over there, about 10 minutes drive from where I'm standing right now, is Longley Manor. That's our flagship lodge at Shamwari. That's the original old pink building that was restored last year and opened up in December. We operated for 4 months before we closed down for lockdown. Over that mountain over there, about a 25-minute drive, is Eagles Crag. In that direction is Bayeti. Over that mountain, 15 minutes drive from where I am, is you've got our new Sandile luxury tented camp. And then in the distance over there, you can see on the top of this little hill in front of me, that's our Riverdene family lodge. So all in all, we've got
Theo, it looks
between this 18 suites, and then on average, the other lodges have got between. Kevin, you still with me?
Yes, I am. We lost you there for a moment, but I think you're back again now. There we go.
Okay, there we go. I've turned it back to me. I'm protected behind an olive tree, so I'll do the rest of my spiel from here before I hand over to Andrew. So that's really an orientation of Shamwari. Malaria-free, Big Five, 7 lodges, each with its own very distinctive style, catering to a different kind of a customer and client. Truth be told, at the moment, since we've opened at lockdown, we're only operating 1 of the 7 lodges. All of our health and safety protocols are in place. And as I said to you last time, Kevin, by the time the borders open and Americans are allowed to come back to South Africa, we'll be well honed doing what we do best, and that's just serve people and offer world-class hospitality. So from my side, without further ado, I don't want to spend too much time looking at this face too close up, so I'm going to rather hand you over to Jan. And before I do, Kevin, once again, thank you for the opportunity. As I say, we're always delighted to do these Zoom calls, both in lockdown and now, and rest assured we'll continue to do them with you until your customers are welcome through the front door. So thanks very, very much again. And Jan, over to you guys. Enjoy the safari. I think we've got about 3 or 4 rangers in the bush, and they're each going to bring you something special, I'm sure. We've got some of the finest rangers in the business. So enjoy the Zoom, and we'll see you soon, folks.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Theo. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and to my fellow guys out there this afternoon. Let's have a crack afternoon going again here on Shamwari. So Kevin, thank you very much for organizing again. Lisa as well, for everyone that's involved, and let's see what we can have a look at. It's quite incredible that Theo mentioned, but how lucky we've been the last couple of Zoom drives. You know, we've seen, I think on one Zoom, we saw one day 2 kills of lions that took down animals. We've managed to see the big 5 on several Zoom drives before. And, you know, just to give you a little bit of idea of where the guides are positioned on the reserve, you know, we scattered all over the reserve here. We 4 guides out for this afternoon that's doing the Zoom, but we've sent out a couple of guys from around about midday onwards, including myself. Andrew was with me as well for the duration of this morning. And we just drive out and we go and look and find and secure the animals and the sightings and try to keep the location and just sit and watch the behavior of these animals. And an interesting thing that I saw, which I'm going to flip the camera around for you guys, is that these animals, or 2 individuals that I'm currently looking at, I do apologize for the wind. It's a little bit windy where I'm sitting. 5 minutes ago, literally 5 minutes ago, they were in such a thick bush. I'm going to show you the bush first of where they were. And literally Leon was going to start the Zoom, and these 2 animals just decided to walk out of the bush, and they just went to go and lie right out into the sun. And Kevin, you will remember I said earlier about Leon, how can you be sitting there in with no jacket on? Because the way I'm sitting there, it was cold because it was in such a thick bush. I'm going to show the folks back home and I'll show everyone. So I was sitting right behind that bushes there in the shade, in the thicket, and it was freezing cold. And that's what I was looking at right up there. 2 male cheetahs. I'll zoom in for the folks back home a little bit. There we go. Look at those animals just lying out in the open, busy sunning themselves. And when they were walking out of the thicket here, at first though, you would think to yourself, you know, why is a cheetah lying in a thicket like that, where it could be out in the open and just in, you know, it's an animal that's built for the open areas. But as they were walking out, they looked quite content. You know, the bellies were quite full, it was quite round. And it just tells me that these guys found where they call breeze that's coming over now here, that it was more sheltered and they were more protected in the thicket and in the dense bush than right out here in the open. And where they were lying, there was a little bit of a sunlight that came through that was warming them up. And as we are approaching the end of the day, you know, the sun's moving, and you know, these animals are literally just trying to get the last little bit of sunlight just to warm up their body. You know, the heat and the sun and solar radiation is playing a vital role for animals out in nature as well. You know, it helps to digest their food by lying down and sleeping and resting. You know, if you think if we have to use ourselves for example, what do we normally do after a good meal? We go find either a nice little sunny spot on a couch or on the lounge or in front of the TV where we can just lie down, sleep and rest. And that's pretty much what these guys are doing as well. So it's a collision right up front here. These 2 brothers were born here. They had 2 other siblings, but unfortunately, you know, there's a huge competition between our predators, predator-prey species here on the reserve. You know, there's a constant battle between the leopards, the cheetah, and the lions here on the property. You know, so it's fighting for survival, it's fighting for food, they're fighting for the I won't necessarily say territory, but they can cross each other's territory. And it's not uncommon where you'll find where a cheetah can get killed by a lion, or a leopard can get killed by a lion, and also leopards that can kill cheetah. I remember quite a few years ago, it was around 2012, we actually, there was a lady here by the name called Pascal, and she came across a cheetah brother that was busy feeding on a young kudu calf. And out of nowhere, while she was, and it was actually caught on film, while she was filming this cheetah eating on the kudu calf, a leopard, female leopard, came out of nowhere and completely ripped that cheetah almost apart, grabbed the kill and ran off with it. But it happened so quickly that, you know, that ranger couldn't even react to it, even if it wanted to. And that's the thing. Looks like, yeah, if there's any chats on the chat room or any questions for the folks back home, please guys feel free to ask us many questions as you like. and myself and Raymond and Timothy and Leon will try answer them as best as possible. Yeah, to tell you a little bit about these two brothers, like I said, you know, they had two more siblings that unfortunately got killed by the northern pride of lions up in the north, and these two brothers survived. You know, their mother, she was denning eventually after about 2.5, close to 2 years. Then yeah, fortunately and very sad as well, she got killed as well by the lions and lost her cubbies as well. So to answer, and I know there's a lot of people probably thinking about it, you know, cheetah populations is declining as we speak. You know, they are on the vulnerable list, and so, you know, we always try to conserve as much as we can of these special creatures. And you can see where I'm positioned as well. You know, here is the front of the bull barn. These animals are probably about 20 meters in front of me, and completely relaxed with me being here. They're not phased. They're quite habituated to the vehicle, and so is all the other animals. For the folks watching back home, you know, we're not pushing the animals. We're not pushing the boundaries. You know, all the animals have got certain comfort zones. You know, we don't want to breach that comfort zone to make it uncomfortable for them, and then at the end of the day they will jump up and run away. So yeah, these two brothers, they've been ongoing ever since. They've been roaming around the reserve, like Theo said earlier, about 25,000 hectares. That's their playground, and boy oh boy, they've got a phenomenal playground. That one just yawned there. I don't know if you've noticed. It was, like I mentioned earlier, when they were lying in the thickets when we first found them, I thought it was a leopard lying down there. It's quite good territory and quite leopard behavior for a leopard to be lying there in the thicket. But yeah, these two guys, quite long, elongated body, large chest, large heart, big lungs, massive nostrils. You can imagine it's an animal that runs anything from 80 to 100 kilometers an hour, so it needs to take in a lot of air while it's running. And before they take down animals, and you know, it's although, you know, a cheetah runs that fast, it's not going to maintain that distance and that speed for a long time. It's only for about a couple of 100 meters. They generally, before they kill or take down an animal, they'll sneak up a little bit on it, and they'll stalk it and stop and watch and observe. And if you look at the body, it's quite a slender body of the animal. So cheetahs in general is not going to take on an animal that's going to be too much of a challenge, where they could potentially hurt or kill themselves in the process. So they'll assess the area perfectly and see all the obstacles right around them, making sure that if they are going to take off, it's going to be a short sprint, and it's going to be a takedown, and they're going to try be on that animal, on the throat, as quickly as possible. And by saying quickly as possible, you'll generally find that your cheetahs will generally eat also as quickly as they can. They generally start at the rear end, will open up where the softer parts is, and try to dig in to those nutritional parts, the lungs, the livers, the heart, kidneys. Try to get as much nutrition off. They also sometimes will drink the blood, and just try to eat as quickly as they can. Because if you think about when a lion or a leopard kills something, leopards generally drag up their kill up a tree, and the lion, depending on the area, if it's quite exposed into the open, will pick it up, and will even drag it into an area which is quite close, and they'll just go and hide it there. Where if a cheetah takes down something, it's generally out in the open area, so it exposes that kill to a variety of different other predators. If you have spotted hyenas in your area, or leopards or lions, so that's why they'll eat generally quickly and then move away. So a cheetah don't remain with its kill for that long, like a lion or a leopard. But phenomenal seeing these two guys just lying out in the open. It's truly a wonderful afternoon for everyone watching back home. There's a bit of a cold breeze, like I said, coming from the south, but the sun's shining. It's blue skies, and we just wish that everyone. Oh, let's put it this way. I wish I had a full vehicle to experience and to witness and see what I'm currently seeing here. So for folks back home watching, it is, you know, differences between cheetah and leopard. You know, if you look very careful, cheetahs generally have those, the individual looking at the left at us, you can clearly see those two defined black tear mark, black stripes running down its face with black spots right on its body, where leopard doesn't have that. You know, leopard also doesn't have the black and the white circles around the tail like the cheetah, and about 2% of that of the cheetah's body is the tail itself, though. 2 to 5%. It's a massive, heavy tail. It's that animal's steering wheel. You know, it moves like a rudder from left to right, making sharp corners, sharp turns when it's chasing after an animal. And you can see what these two brothers are doing. The one's facing sort of south, and the one's facing sort of northwesterly. And they're constantly out on the lookout, and the ears are constantly moving as well. You know, there's one fascinating thing about nature and the animals. Look at the behavior of what these animals are doing. You know, we're sitting here and we might be thinking we might hear this or we might hear that, but these guys have sense of hearing and smell and eyesight is so advanced that, you know, it's, I just want to see what they're looking at here. You can see they're both looking at towards the left hand side. I just want to scout here as well while I'm looking towards my left hand shoulder. I had it earlier when I was coming down in myself and Andrew. There's actually a black rhino female and a calf, which I will, after this, will hand over to Leon, and then I'm going to drive around a little bit and see if I can't find, because that's truly such an exceptional sighting seeing as well. But we'll tell you a little bit more about that for the folks watching back home. But folks, if there's no questions about the cheetahs itself, I'm going to hand over to Leon, and then if I don't come right or see or find the black rhino, I'll come past them and just see what these two are. You can see the one on the right, just flat belly on the side. Now that's a resting position right there. Sorry, Leon, I know I've been talking a lot, but I'm going to hand over to you, Leon. And Leon, if you can hear me, I'm going to send it straight over to you.
Hey, Jan. No, that was well done. That's a very cool find, but you guys can be a little bit more patient with my face and what I'm about to show you guys, because I'm going to switch over to Ray, because he might have something extremely interesting there. And then if whatever I have here still stays here, you guys will be able to see. So Ray, over to you.
Many thanks, Leon. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to your virtual safari here at Shamwari Private Game Reserve. As Jan's saying, it's a beautiful day out here. I'm just going to switch my camera around, and I've obviously been so privileged to be where I am right now, because across there, I don't know if you can see, but there are two rhinos, but they're a bit far away, but that's not what I want to show you. And I have elephants on my left-hand side, just in the distance walking away there. And then I have a little surprise for you coming up. If the individual is still there, we'll have a look shortly. So here you go, everybody. Here's your little surprise from myself this afternoon. As you can see, a male lion doing exactly what the cheetah are doing, enjoying the last bit of sunshine before the sun does go down. The wind has picked up. It's a beautiful easterly wind blowing. It's a little bit chilly coming off the ocean, so a lot of predators looks like they're all enjoying the beautiful sunshine. I was actually a bit worried. That's why I asked Leon if I could just speak after Jan, because the elephants got so close to this male lion and he didn't even wake up until literally one was right in front of him. He lifted his head and then laid back down. But everybody, this is one of the individuals, poof, gone back to sleep. Exactly what to do. So this is one of the individual lions we have on the property. He's a beautiful male, as you can see, a beautiful thick mane, which is the hair around his neck. He's approximately 6 years old. We do have many lions on the reserve. This individual we are looking at now is one of the other lions. He's the dominant male of this area. And you might also think, why is he by himself? Because he's all alone at the moment. And maybe you'll get to see the rest of his pride later on. But what Shamwari has finally been blessed with is some rain, which we literally prayed for last week. And we are so grateful. I mean, you can see how the bush is going green. It's really looking absolutely stunning. And what lions and other cats have to do is once it rains, they have to go around the reserve and their territory to mark their territory. So they'll walk around the perimeter and they'll urinate in special spots where they'll leave their scent. That's just to ensure no other males come into the territory. So they almost protect their home, and that will keep other males away. Now after it's rain, you'll hear them vocalize like, ooh. like a heavy, deep roar, which I clearly can't do well enough because he doesn't respond to me. But that will also ensure that no other predators do come into his territory. Male lions generally live for about 7.
Jan, I think we lost your audio, unfortunately. Oh, Raymond, I'm sorry, Raymond, we lost your audio. Because he is absolutely a beauty. Wow.
Yeah, sorry guys, sometimes because of the wind and so on, reception not too great, but we did contact him on the radio. But yeah, no, Kevan, he is a beautiful male, and that's what he does most of the days, just relaxing there, doing his territorial walking. But he's one of our most beautiful males here on Shamwari.
He really is absolutely gorgeous. That's amazing that the elephants across the other side there don't bother him. He's obviously very content today, which is great.
Normally it's the rhinos of the buffalo that might give the elephants a bit of a run for their money, but the lions tend to just run away. They realize that they are smaller.
That's what I figured, and I thought, it's interesting that he's not bothered by them being so close, and that they are not troubling him at all. That he's just very content there, and Raymond, I think, did mention that he is a loner, obviously, which is interesting. Would that mean, that does he still reproduce, and does he interact with females to have offspring, or is he really truly alone now?
So funny enough you say that, Kevan. So that male is not too far away from the rest of the pride. Now, to show you guys what I have on my side, let me finally show you. Oh, the sun is a bit hectic. Let me just get a little bit closer there. I actually have the rest of the pride on my side, where the of the cubs are. But if I can zoom, I don't know if you guys can see. If I block it with my hand, there we go. So what you are looking at is the big mom. That is the big female lioness, or female lioness, and that's the 4 cubs to her right. I'm saying cubs because they're still quite young. They are now about 1.5 years, 2 years, probably. The younger male is lying at the back there, but that's the older female. I don't know, Kevan, can you see?
We can certainly see the change in the coloring, the tawny coloring. It's a little difficult to make out an actual shape because they are in the thicket there. So, gosh, it's like, and be very careful. We don't want you getting cut up or torn up by lions. So, you're getting much closer now. Yeah.
Exactly as you said. I mean, look here. I'm currently, say hi to everyone. I'm currently in the thick bush here, with Longley being right at the back there. But the only spot that we will be able to actually see them from would be there. But I've managed to get a little bit closer by guessing where they might be. But they are lying flat out of the normal eyesight, because that's generally what they do. I mean, they walk all over the place, and where they want to lie down, they lie down. And in the case of the male lion, sometimes other animals do come across and then chase them away. But this lioness and the 4 sabarots, if I can put it that way, has found themselves a very, very nice spot. But as you said as well, this makes it even more dangerous for us as trails guides. That's something we offer on Shamwari as well, is walking trails. And when you walk around, this is definitely something to look out for, because they can be around every corner. I mean, my nose is put in here, and there's a little game trail, generally, which we take to walk through the bush, and around the corner, boom, they are right here in front. But so generally the males walk around and do their territorial patrols, staying away from the females and the cubs and so on. Sometimes it might be because they're irritable, but it's because they're more doing their duties any then other reason. But that brings to mind now the debate about are females and males hunting less or more than one another. So when it comes to the hunting of the males and females, I would say females do a lot more hunting because of the cubs. It's not like the males don't do hunting. When they do their patrols and they walk about on their own, they definitely hunt because they're very, very opportunistic. So when lions walk around and anything had to come across their path, whether it be a warthog, a springbok, impala, zebra, if it's a big male lion, they'll definitely take it down because that's just part of the instinct. I mean, you know, if you have a domestic cat at home and you throw something in front of its face, it's going to try and go for it sometimes if you don't have a lazy cat like we do currently here. But it's just part of the instinct. So it's not, oh, that's beautiful. It's not like the males don't hunt. They just hunt a lot less, or not what we see always. So they can hunt a lot, but just not what we see because they're always doing their patrols. But what we always see is the females with feeding her cubs. But the sad fact is, if the big yawn, wow, they're lazy today. It's because of this beautiful sun. I mean, I'm looking into the sun currently, and as Jan and Raymond said, these animals are currently getting the last little bit of sun left before they have to go do their things. I mean, lions have to rest about 20 hours, let's say maximum a day, so that they can be a lot more active at vigilance at night, because they hunt much better at night because of their adapted eyesight. I mean, they've got what we call a tapetum lucidum at the back of the eye, which is a little fleece which deflects almost any form of light that comes into the eye, illuminating the eyes, making oh, she's got up, making it a lot better to see at night. Oh, there's the young ones getting up. Oh, Mom, do we really have to move now? Yeah, when they're done resting, they'll move. And the cubs will actually start telling the mom if they're hungry or not. While she's lying down, they'll get up and I'm actually going to try move up a little bit without disturbing them. They'll actually communicate to her if they are hungry and they want to go hunt. They nudge her, they go flop down on top of her, they start grooming her or grooming one another. And this is how they form a very strong bond, by grooming one another and yawning together and roaring together. I mean, lions are your only sociable big cat we have, or sociable cat. I mean, it's quite rare and special to see the coalition of the cheetah, but generally they're quite solitary. And lions are your only sociable cat out there. I mean, and that's how they need to form that bond, to have a strong bond, to hunt better together. But sometimes when the cubs are too young, they won't follow the mom for too long. The mom will tell them to stay back, she'll go do the hunting, and when they're at the right age, she will actually bring them along to with the hunts and teach them how to hunt. But if they're not following the mom and we found the cubs on their own, the mom's away hunting, you'll actually see that it's instinctive behavior to stalk one another and pounce on one another and try and catch one another and run around and play. I mean, it is so instinctive for them to learn how to hunt from a young age, to hunt from a young age, excuse me. But yeah, so they're not moving as much. I mean, Jan had two beautiful cheetahs flopping, flat cats. We had a big male lion, flat cats. Now we have the whole pride flat cats. They're not moving. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to try and get a better visual on them to see if they move. I'm going to stick with them for a while. But I'm going to move over to Timothy to see if he has actually something that is currently mobile and moving, so that you guys can have a better look. Wow, Timothy, anything on your side?
Oh yeah, I've been dashing in and out of the bushes, a little bit more active than the lovely aroma that the plants are giving you there that you're probably laying in. Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon for those of you here in South Africa. I'm just going to flip the camera around so you can see what I've been tracking down or following. Just in the road. But as Raymond and Leon was saying, lot of the males, as you can see, this very cool guy here. A lot of the males are going about marking after their own. So this is a male white rhinoceros that he is very fortunate enough to just stop, give a whiff at a junction, and let's see if he's going to mark or not. So your territorial males tend to be highly active before and after the rain. You can see he's actually lifting up his lip and smelling at that corner. So folks, I'm wondering if any of you can hear me all right?
Timothy, there's a lot of wind noise. The view is spectacular of this rhino. Absolutely gorgeous, but a lot of wind noise. So we're only getting about half of what you're saying.
All right. So from his side, it's a 10 out of 10. From my side, with the noise, it's 0 out of 10. My apologies. He's doing his job perfectly. There you go. So I'm just trying to block my mic here a little bit. Now the wind is something that disturbs not just us, your rhinos and your lions as well. The predators that have incredibly sensitive hearing, it would state the same for your herbivores to have quite heightened hearing as well. So they prefer to move in between the thicket and the bushes. Not just that, but also hair on the margin of their ears acts as a muffler. So if I had a proper microphone at this time, as he just went into the bushes there and try and wait for him to make his way out. As I have a proper microphone, if I had one, it wouldn't be so problematic. But your rhinos, your lions, ears helps clarify that sound so the wind doesn't actually distort the noise too much. So what these animals are doing, your male lion and your male rhino, as we say, their real estate works on a currency of presence, and their presence is usually shown either by them physically being there, by leaving some sort of scent or physical part of themselves. So we tend to never go around hiking, or if you see by rivers or streams, little deep piles of water. That's technically midden, and that's what we're referring to here. Either like a lavatory, a communal social lavatory, or better terms, a midden. And he's going along the roadways now. They don't always use the roads that we use. We use very strict 2 tracks for the vehicles. And as Kevan was stating, there's a game trail. The majority of these game trails are either made by your large rhinos, your elephants, and they're maintained by other animals. About 35,000 areas, 8,000 acres. Oh wow, good to see you again, boy. The light isn't working for us too well, so as he's moving about, you can see his tail is lifted up there. So he's either been urinating and defecating. Oh, thank you, goodness, for coming closer. As they do this, for those of you who've seen, I've got Jack Russells at home, but if you guys have dogs that would kick once they're done urinating, that's to then deposit that scent of urine or defecation or dung onto their feet. So everywhere they walk, it saves them so much time and energy because they are physically marking with every step that they take. So beautiful, very meticulous. He's been grazing this whole afternoon. I stayed with him for just over an hour, and he did literally nothing but, you know, everyone in COVID times has been trying to find something to do, to find a job or something. So his favorite hobby is landscaping. And as you can see, all of our areas of grass, very, very well maintained thanks to our good boy, the white rhino. Roughly eats about 40 to 60 kilograms of grass a day. Very different to your black rhinoceros, which coexists with them, not competing for food, because your black rhinoceros that Jan was around loves thick, dense areas and would be going for the bushes and leaves instead. So this male is also alone now because being territorial doesn't necessarily mean that you own females. You don't own anything but the land that you eat, poo, and pee on. So that's what he's doing. He's ensuring that his territory is safe from predators so that the females can go with peace of mind and they do the rearing of the young. And it's your boys who end up having to push out other competing males and ensure that there's food and water in that safe territory of theirs. So I'm just going to flip my vehicle around. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. it's been quite lovely that he's working with us so nicely here. He's showing us his good side, which to me personally, oh, nothing better than the rhino backside there. So as we know, your rhino is in a very dire state because protein and keratin and hair shampooers that have protein. That's pretty much what it is fibrous protein strands that are compacted that stems from a growth plate, very much like your hair or your fingernails that grows just about a couple of millimeters underneath the skin. See the pathway that he's walking under. So he can go anywhere he likes to, but he's then going to be under risk of ticks and other parasites that are going to jump on the skin. And as he's moving around through whatever bits of grass, wagtails, there one goes, just hopping about, getting your rhinos, not just for like any other reason, but superstition belief that those horns or tusks or ivory can be used as a status symbol, because about a kilogram of it goes for 60 to 80. Nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if it was for about $100,000 per kilogram. And with the rhino that lives up to 40 years, each grown adult will be sexually mature by the age of 6 to 8. I wouldn't say sexually mature, I'd say sexually active. It takes them a few years to become mature. So when they're about the age of 12, I can't even tell how old they are because they all just look big and mature to me. So a fully grown adult horn can weigh about 5 to 7 kilograms. And the longest of which came from a female. Just gonna flip it around for you guys. The longest which came from a female whose horn was about 1.7 meters. Guys, 1.7 meters. That was from a female white rhino. So it seems like we stopped here at a midden, and he might just have something to say and leave behind a message or like a Facebook post or an Instagram pin saying, "Look, guys, this restaurant was it's the bee's knees. I've had so much plentiful grass over here. I'm going to be moving in this general direction. If you want, you can meet up with me." You can see he's smelling everyone else who's been around there. It's like a big social forum page for white rhinos. Black rhinos can also use the same middens because the content of their dung is very different. So they can recognize, say, no, if you're a white rhino, you're in an area that has a lot of limestone. They'll be able to tell that's a lot sweeter than grass that is growing in areas with a lot of iron oxide. It's most likely going to be very acidic, a little bit more sour. So because it's their lives, rhinos know what areas of which nutrients, what content they can get, if you know, if they were feeling for a variety in their diet. And those wagtails, little birds, are still there, picking through the insects in the dung.
Timmy, can I jump in there quickly if you don't mind?
Oh, so good to hear your voice. Yeah, and more than welcome.
Hey, awesome stuff. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man. I just came across. I was actually driving. No luck with a black rhino there. I think with this wind, and for the folks back home, you can watch and clearly you can hear how windy it's starting to get. So it's actually quite surprising to see that Timothy had a rhino out in the open. Interesting thing. How these little fellas, I actually got out of the vehicle and I walked a little bit. I recall Leon earlier mentioned about us doing walking safaris, and how incredible is that view from where I'm standing. See the giraffes moving. There's one more there, and there's Sandile Lodge right there. So I was coming down that side of the hill, down towards where these guys are, and where it was quite windy out in the open where they're crossing down towards the thickets to come and feed here. I had to get out of the vehicle to get a little bit of more shelter, from the wind. I just want to see where the rest are. They crossed quite a deep little gully. Oh, there they are. They've crossed already. Look at that. There's more giraffes down there. Hey, fellas. So yeah, it's our southern giraffe here. There's another one looking looking at us there, just scouting, looking. I know what yeah, time's not too bad though, Kevin. Kevin, are we limited to a specific time here, or is
Well,
how are you guys?
Yeah, we do try to keep it at about that hour time, but certainly if
Okay.
we're seeing, and if we start to see more things in the open, then we can certainly go on a little longer if it works better for you guys. I know the wind has
Awesome.
certainly been playing havoc, and I think it's very worthwhile mentioning to everybody at this point that this is nature. So nothing here is animatronics. This is all nature, and we see what we see, and that's why when we go out on safari, we'll go 2 or 3 times a day, because it gives you the opportunity. You might see the rhino, as we saw, in the wide open. These giraffes right now relatively open. Other things later would be open, and so on. So it does. I think it's important just to let everybody know. And why, as this is giraffes are my favorite. So I love it when you guys find giraffes.
Oh no, it is a must see animal, Kevin, when you're out in safari. And then, like you said, these animals, it's called wildlife for a reason. Otherwise, it was going to be called tamed life. And these animals are in their natural habitat every single day. And what we do is, like I mentioned earlier, we so spread out and scout out into the reserve. And luckily with modern technology, we can still communicate with our fellow rangers and with our fellow guides if he's got a good sighting or if I've got a good sighting. And I'm actually not too far from my vehicle. There's my vehicle parked right up there. And I just decided, I can't drive down there. It's going to be a little bit of a trick, and Andrew's not going to be happy with me getting a vehicle stuck on this side. So I decided just to get out. I'm not disturbing them. They're not disturbed. And you can see the one down there on the left is busy feeding. So it's a phenomenal sighting. The animals are literally, it's all out and about. I was driving past waterbuck and impala, and there were springboks and warthogs were running. So it's truly, truly exceptional afternoon. I know we all, like you mentioned earlier, Kevin, about time. So I'll hand over to Leon, because I think Leon found another sighting on his way out of that line sighting. So I just wanted to come and show you clearly a little bit about, that we've got some giraffes here. I think there's more coming up around the corner here on my left, but I'll hand over to Leon. So Leon, if you hear me, go ahead.
Hey, Jan. Yeah, guys, it is an absolutely beautiful day today out here in Shamwari. I mean, animals are out and about. I mean, lions popping out, rhinos popping out. It's really amazing. But it's as Kevin says, these animals are not like animatronic. They are wild. So one moment they're here, one moment they're there.
Leon, you mind if I just take a quick minute real quickly? Rhino just came a little bit
up to us to do our training. I mean, go.
Thank you. I'm just going to sit here silently. Maybe you can hear him. Okay, the architect. Hear him grinding and groaning. He can hardly hear us, but you can see the hairs I was talking about in the tips of his ears. He was smelling. This is about 3-4 meters, really. I'll show you where my vehicle is. I'm gonna zoom out like this. I think he was smelling the plants that Leon was sitting next to, and I was like, "Oh, that smells so good, Leon's perfume." Oh yes, get a whiff. All right, sorry to jump in there, Leon, and you're more than welcome to take it away.
Timothy, can you hear me now?
100%. Ray, how are you doing?
No problem.
Leon, can you hear me?
Yeah, affirmative. Do you have something special for us?
I did have something special, but unfortunately ran into the river line. But what I want to explain here is what Timothy is basically looking at right now, and what he mentioned earlier is a Rhino Midden. So as you can see, lots and lots of dung placed in one area. So these are exactly like Timothy was saying, in order to mark territory. And how do I know it's a white rhino dung? Because I'll pick up an old piece so my hands don't get smelly. But if you had to look closely at the dung, there's lots of grass matter inside. So as was mentioned earlier, white rhinos eat grass, and then black rhinos eat twigs. And then also with your black rhino, their middens generally look a little bit more orange in color. That's because of the tannin that the trees contain from the branches they eat. So basically what the rhino would do, it will come and defecate here. You can see where it scratched its feet in that direction, get all the scent over his feet, and then he will continue marking. And then he actually was here a second ago. He's just run into the sunlight there. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what a midden is, a rhino midden. And then I'm going to hand you back over to Leon. Leon, all yours.
Thank you. Yes, you guys. I mean, it's amazing. There's not only just animals out there. There's the tracks and signs they leave, birds and general insects and reptiles. But it is still amazing to look at. Come on, dramatic effect, boom. It is absolutely lovely to have all of these beautiful animals here on the property, and this is one of them, the African elephant. Close up, look at that beautiful male. Not by only the biological way of sexing them, you can see by the big forehead, big head, massive head, that this is a male. Interestingly enough, as big as these animals are and as massive as the head looks, I mean, it should be probably very heavy. Skull itself, the skeleton, is they've got these hollow sections in their skull to lighten the skull itself, so that it isn't as massive and heavy on the neck. So that's quite interesting. But this is not the only male we have individually. There's one thinking that he's a monkey. Look at that. You'll find elephants at some of the weirdest places. I mean, they're so adaptable, they're so mobile, actually. I mean, they could weigh up to about, I think the heaviest elephant ever weighed was about just over 6 tons. That's 6,000 kilograms. That is very heavy. Look at the perfect lighting. Hey guys, Kevin, I know you said you wanted a sunset, but we're still probably about 10 to 15 minutes away from that. But I mean, this creates perfect lighting for game viewing and so on. This is a brilliant side profile of a male elephant. You can see we go. The forward flap is a good indication of male elephant. Females will have, will have a square forehead, where the males have a round forehead. And he's very big. I mean, he's probably just about 2.5 meters. That's a couple of meters taller than me. Also not too far away from the vehicle. I mean, if I have to zoom out, they probably about 10 meters away from the vehicle. Very calm, very comfortable. I mean, we don't put a lot.
And it seems as though we're, Leon, I think we're struggling with your bandwidth and with your, this is a stunning elephant, so it's beautiful. Do try again. I think we might have you back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sorry. You must let me know if we're running short on time here. It's just, this is beautiful to look at even. I don't have to say.
Oh, absolutely. We love seeing it. And it's always so hard to say, you know, that I know we're slowly starting to come to time, but to see these animals, and now we're, you know, it's just fantastic. It's absolutely amazing.
This is amazing. I mean, actually, Kevin, to end off, I just want to show you something interesting. I mean, we've had a beautiful look at him now, but Raymond has done so well to look and to show us the midden. But it's not always just the dung that they leave after or they leave behind to indicate where they are. They actually, look at what that big male, I'll show you what the big male has done to the environment. Look at that. This is actually how we found him. He actually broke down this tree
Leon, can I please just jump in there? I know elephants are super cool, but look at this. I kid you not, I was actually out of the vehicle because I was looking at a dung ball, and I'm going to literally go back to that dung ball. But look at this.
That's brilliant.
Huh? Now that's where you call it typical journey of giraffe on the move, all in a single file. And they're heading towards there where I had that other members in the group. And look at that, there's one boy that just spotted me. And incredible, look at that. As the sun is about to set, lovely journey of giraffe on their way. There's the dominant male, the bigger one, walking up there. And obviously with this young male right up on this side, on the left hand side, he's just showing, well, a typical dominant behavior. And the big boy will tolerate him as the journey is moving along. But there's more giraffes coming through. There is, behind this bush here, there's probably another 5 or 6, but it's all youngsters, almost like a little nursery moving through here. So you have that moving across the open plain, literally the open plain. They're moving from one thicket to another thicket. And that's literally what we are seeing and experiencing. I was on my way driving while Raymond stopped and had a chat to everyone about the Rhino Midden. And as he was talking about, and Leon said about the smaller things in life, it's not just about the bigger animals. My eye spotted a dung ball. So I'm literally going to run back to, I'm not even too far from my vehicle either. Sorry, folks, I just love being out of the vehicle. You know, there's my vehicle. We're living in such a square world if you think about it. Everything is square. Square TV, square chair, square table. I know the world's round, but there's even zebras following the giraffes. That is incredible. Try zoom in. I'm not even zoomed in. Look at that. A couple of youngsters. I'll just stand up a little bit because there's more coming. A couple of zebras. And look at that. There's, oh, sorry for the wind, everyone. Well, we know by now it's quite windy. Yes, Amanda, Shamwari is definitely malaria free for everyone wandering back home. I think that makes us a little bit of a cut above the rest that we are malaria free. I'm actually just walking back towards the vehicle. I want to go and show you quickly that dung ball that I found, and then Leon, I'll quickly bounce back to you. Where was it? Oh, here it is. So I'm just gonna, well, there we go, lie flat down. So look at that. So I'm literally lying flat down to the ground, which is actually quite nice. Because now, just want to show you, there's the vehicle behind me. I'm lying flat down. My wife's gonna love me washing my clothes tonight. But let me show you here. A lot of times, you know, we see this round little ball, and it's a dung beetle. But why is it left all out on its own? You know, you get different. There's so many dung beetle species out in the world. It's crazy to even try and mention them. And I'm talking about thousands of different dung beetle species. But here on the reserve, we've got about 4 different types that these guys are doing. So you get a kleptocorporate, which the endocorporate will, I think, Leon, your audio is still on there, thank you. You have a kleptocorporate that will make the dung ball, that will use dung from Rhino Middens, buffalo dung, and it will construct this round little ball, and then it will lay its egg inside, and then it pushes it and rolls it up until it goes and buries it somewhere. And I think for a lot of folks watching back home that's been on safari before, sometimes you'll find one dung beetle busy pushing it, and then all of a sudden you get one on the other side also pushing it, or one sitting on top of it. Now that's a type of dung beetle which we call a kleptocorporate, that tries to steal this dung ball for itself, lays the egg inside of the dung, and then moves off. And then you get your endocorporates, dung beetles, that where Raymond was earlier at the Rhino Midden, that will lay the eggs. They dig a small hole on the ground, and then they will bury the eggs underneath the pile of dung, and then they will cover it back up again. So I'm not going to disturb the dung ball itself by breaking it open and show you guys, but there's generally one egg inside of this dung ball. So the larva will hatch, and then it feeds on this dung that's been constructed by the dung beetle itself though. And the reason why they also lay it in the dung, it's a form of protection. You know, predators won't pick it up generally. They will just But I thought I heard something. That's why I lost focus, because I've got both earpieces in, and I thought I heard something. It was actually the wind that pushed my cruiser door closed, so it slammed. So I thought I got attacked by something. But nevertheless, so yeah, it's just a form of protection while they lay the eggs inside of the dung ball, so that predators and birds and other animals can't get to it. So Leon, shot for giving me a gap there. I hope everyone enjoyed. So back to you.
Anytime, yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. Actually, something very interesting this side as well. I'm trying to find it now. There was a jackal which was hunting a spotted thickney egg. I can switch around quickly and show you. There the jackal's running there at the back. There the back is running. Let me switch my vehicle. And he was hunting around here. And there's the sad spotted thickney bird. I think the jackal managed to get the egg. It's what we call ground birds. They actually lay their eggs on the ground itself, and then the jackals will run around scavenging for it. And I heard this calling. Oh, there we go. Absolutely beautiful bird. Spotted thickney. Yeah. Oh, shame. It's a monogamous pair, which means male and female. They're made for life. They have that egg taking turns roosting on it and so on. There's the female there at the back. Yeah, but it's actually, look, it's sad, but that's part of life. I mean, it's part of the ecosystem, part of the circle of life. I don't know how to sing that song. But look how well blended this bird is. That's what you call cryptic coloration. It blends in with its surrounding, and it actually takes the color of its surrounding to just try and hide. That's beautiful. Yo, Kevin, we can't wait for you guys to be here. I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful afternoon out here. Shamwari Private Game Reserve. Looking forward for these seats to be full, and yeah, we're looking forward for you guys to be here. I mean, I think we can actually, if there's nothing else that my teammates have, we can end it off. Thank you guys for your time. It has been really great showing you what you can enjoy when you guys come visit again.
And you know, you guys always do an amazing job. I know it's not easy, and sometimes when the animals are deciding that it's thicket day and we're going to sit in the bush, and you guys really go out of your way to try and show us and get in there. So we truly appreciate that. You know, the giraffes are my favorite, so that is absolutely
it was
fantastic.
beautiful, eh? Yeah, that was special.
I love that. Either one of you always manages to do the giraffes for me every time we do this, and it just is, they're so relaxing and they're so wonderful. We do have a question about what does a day on safari look like. So let's just very quickly run over that if I can, and that is just simply basically generally what will happen, and it can vary and sometimes can be customized for you, but generally what will happen is you get up early in the morning. You are going to go out on an early morning game drive. It's when the animals are definitely, moving around as the sun is coming up. It's just a stunning time to be out in the African bush. You'll come back to the lodge. You'll have, and by the way, when you're out on that morning game drive, they will have coffee and a little refreshment for you. And then you'll come back to the lodge, and you're going to do a full, amazing breakfast. Breakfast in the bush is just so incredible, and they certainly know how to feed you. And then there'll be some downtime. The guys have talked about doing walking safaris, and being able to go out on trails. That sometimes is done late in the morning. Then you'll be back at the lodge, have lunch, a little bit of downtime. You might want to go and sit out on the deck at your lodge room. We talked about the Sandili luxury camp, which is just fabulous, has the most amazing views out over, but every lodge at Shamwari is just stunningly beautiful. Then later on in the afternoon, we're going to go back out, as the guys are doing right now, and do the afternoon game drive. So there will always be 2 game drives per day. You'll do sundowners while you're out, so just as the sun is going down, so about now we would start thinking about stopping somewhere and pouring a gin and tonic, or having something fantastic, wonderful, a little imbibement, and we toast farewell to the sun. It's a wonderful African tradition, and it's done all over Africa. And it also means that often the last 30 or 40 minutes of your game drive will be done in the dark. and the bush in the dark is completely different to what it is in the daytime. And you'll be blown away by what these guys can find in the pitch black by lights hitting eyes and so on. It's incredible. So that would be a typical kind of day on safari in a nutshell. It can vary a little bit, but it just gives you a general idea. And you'll do this for 3 or 4 days because it means every time you go out, you're going to see something different. As you've seen, we've had 4 different vehicles out this afternoon, and they have all seen different things. And some things, you know, with the lions and the thickets, but the giraffe out in the open, the elephant, the rhino. And I think it's very well worth mentioning that the big 5, by the way, are the lion, the elephant, the Cape buffalo, the leopard, which by the way is the most elusive, and the rhino. So today we were actually able to see 3 of the big 5. So that is fantastic in just 1 hour. That's absolutely amazing. So guys, we truly, truly appreciate everything you do. Africa is so special. Look at that sunset going down, just stunningly, stunningly beautiful. You know, you guys, you always bring us fabulous weather because the weather in Shamwari is generally always terrific. You know, so that's wonderful. So guys, I thank you so very, very much yet again. You've done an amazing job. We know that you work really hard to get this. This is live. It is nature. So this is not planned. You know, the wind played a little bit of havoc with us today and some of the amazing information that you have. But the good news about that is everybody will just have to come to Shamwari and hear it firsthand in person from you. And see these things live, because there's nothing beats a live experience. So with that, I thank you all very, very much indeed, and I will shoot it back to Lisa for final words.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. I truly enjoyed that, even with the wind. That told me it is truly live. It was not set up or planned, which I think is kind of what to expect in Africa. You never know what you're going to get. So, but it was very exciting, and I thank you for taking us on that journey today. And I know definitely when it's open, I was supposed to go in March. I'm definitely going to go. So thank you so much, Kevan, and thank you to everybody out at Shamwari. We really appreciate your time and spending that time with us. So we appreciate it. And if you have any questions that you didn't get answered, feel free to email me or to email your advisor, and we'll be happy to get the answers to you. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Bye,
Lisa.
everyone.
See everybody in
Thanks,
Africa
everyone.
soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.